I am Mr. Macado Zacharia Nendouvhada, a teacher at Dzata Secondary School. I'm a senior teacher there. I was born and bred at Nendouvhada village, where I lead my life through the support of my only parent, my mother, my late mother. She was my mentor, she was my friend. She was everything to me. She supported me throughout my studies, from primary right through the secondary level. Apart from my mother, there were teachers, particularly my principal at the secondary school. I grew up wanting to do even more, but there were a lot of challenges, particularly financial challenges, because I grew up from a very meager background. We did not have funds. I wanted to study further. There were no money. I remember immediately after my matric, I had to go and work as a temporary teacher for 1 year. And with the proceeds thereof, I used it to fund my first and second level of studies at the college, Macado College of Education, where I obtained my secondary teacher's diploma. And thereafter, I proceeded to do my higher education diploma, majoring in history and Africans. And Africans is no longer done at our schools. I continued with my studies. I did my honors degree in management of schools. I also wanted to do even more and much better. That is why I decided to pursue a master's degree in business administration, and which I couldn't complete because by then I had even huge responsibility, which is to also support my children financially, the level of their schools, the higher education funding, which is quite huge. That's my challenge was all about finance. Ultimately, I wanted to become a doctor, not a medical doctor, but professionally so, actually majoring in history. My great influence actually came from my colleagues. I had one friend of mine, Mr. Murauzi. He's the one who supported me throughout with my studies, with the books, because then it was difficult to even own a textbook, let alone pencils and whatever utensils that one could use at the level of the school. You were lucky to go home and actually get a lunch or even a supper. It was difficult to own a proper school uniform. Hence, we persevered. I persevered until I am what I am today. I am a teacher at Dzata Secondary School, a senior teacher, and I'm teaching life orientation and geography. I'm teaching grade 10 and 11 respectively. I love my children. They all actually regard me as their father, as their mentor. They will always come to ask, not only for academic assistance, but also life in general. I always encourage them to study and study further. I always tell them that money is not an issue in this regard. What is important is their will to study, because the future needs very learned people. The same also applies to my children at home. There are 4 girls. I always encourage them to study. I came across Fundi through a friend who actually heard my story about my struggles with financial assistance to my children. And I was told to go and visit a branch at the University of Venda, where there is a Fundi office. I went there, I met a very friendly staff. They were assisting, and I came back laughing because in my application, I was successful. They actually were able to fund my children's tuition fees, books, laptops, even the phones. I also used Fundi to foot my tuition fees at the main course, whilst I was doing my master's in business administration. I was no longer receiving all those irritating calls to say, you are owing the institution, please, when are you going to pay? And to all young learners and young people, education is the key. Do not quit school because your parents cannot afford your education. Do not quit school because of stress that your parents will never afford your dreams. I am telling you that at the present moment, money is no longer an issue. We have got fundi that will be able to afford. Apart from being a teacher, I am also a pastor. I have been elected to become the chairman of the branch. We do a lot of community work. We move around doing welfare issues with the society. We also make sure that we feed the children from our Sunday school. They get this feeding scheme. We also help them to apply towards their registrations at the universities. We also help them with the applications with funding. We also do a lot of counseling to learners who are disillusioned with their future. So we also visit their homes to find out about their backgrounds, and also assisting by way of soliciting some other materials that can be able to help them, like their school uniforms, food, and another thing that is helpful to them.